Good morning, Your Excellencies, dear Commissioner Kubilius, Chief of Defenses, distinguished colleagues, dear allies. Thank you for gathering here today at the Defending Baltics. This event is more than discussion about a current threat. It is a conversation about how we build a safer future for our region together. And it reminds us of a simple truth. Baltic security has always depended on two things: continuity and collective action. Lithuania firmly believes that security policy cannot be fragmented. We must act as one system, as one integrated mechanism. This is our commitment, a whole-of-government approach where military, civilian, economic, and international tools align under a single strategy. Only then can we respond effectively and on time to the rapidly changing threat environment. Today, that environment demands exactly such unity. Traditional military threats blend with hybrid pressures, cyber attacks, disinformation, energy manipulation, disruption of supply chains. These are not isolated incidents. They form a single, coordinated effort to weaken our resilience. And our response must be just as coordinated, unified, rapid, and strategic. Lithuania continues to ensure a defense budget of 5 to 6% of the GDP. This is not a temporary increase. It is a strategic commitment, a signal of long-term continuity to both our adversaries and our allies. Continuity matters. Our defense posture does not shift with political cycles. This is national consensus. We are advancing the capability of our national division. We are strengthening our air defense. We are investing in drones and anti-drone systems. And just as importantly, we are enhancing the total defense, engaging society, and building national resilience. Our strength lies not only in armed forces, but in a prepared and united population. We also do not view security as something to be consumed. We help create it. And by working hand in hand, we strengthen not only the Baltic, but the entire eastern flank of NATO. Allow me to emphasize one core message. We are strongest when our actions are consistent, our policies coherent, and our institutions aligned. This is the path to the long-term security. This is the backbone of the Baltic defense. Good luck strengthening it. Have a great conference, everyone.
And it is now my pleasure to welcome to the stage the European Commissioner for Defense and Space, Andrius Kubilius.
Dear ministers, dear generals, dear Baltic friends, dear brothers and sisters in arms, thanks a lot for inviting me to this very important conference. The title of this conference contains two of the most important elements of today's discussions on defense in Europe: how to defend the Baltics and what to learn from Ukraine, and how to learn. Those are the most important questions not only for the Baltic states. These are also the most important questions for the European Union and for NATO: how to defend the Baltics and how to learn from Ukraine. The urgency of the first question comes from the public statements of our intelligence services, including from Germany, Denmark, Finland, the Netherlands, and from our region, that Putin can be ready to test Article 5 during the next 2 or 4 years before 2030. We can just guess that in such a case, Baltic states will be one of the preferable targets of the new Kremlin aggression. It will be an aggression also against all of NATO and against all of European Union. I would like to remind that the recent famous book, If Russia Wins, a Scenario, by Carlo Massala, the well-known German analyst, who is also a professor in Bundeswehr University, presents a threatening scenario when NATO fails to agree on how to react when Narva is occupied. I don't want to elaborate on Carlo Massala's scenario, but defending the Baltics means to be ready for different scenarios. And that readiness needs to be elaborated both by member states, in this case by the Baltic states, but also by NATO and by the European Union. And I would like to remind everybody that the Treaty of European Union contains a famous Article 42.7 on mutual assistance in the case of military aggression against a single member state, which some experts are calling a stronger one than NATO Article 5 in terms of the obligations of member states to help each other. But my talk today will be devoted not to discuss how NATO or EU is preparing to defend the Baltic states, but more to how the Baltic states are preparing to defend themselves and at the same time to defend the whole European Union, and how the Union can help the Baltic states in this heavy strategic task. And I will not give you well-known traditional recipes, and I will not try to tell you how you need to use the instruments which we recently created, like Rearm Europe program, safe loans, or forthcoming EDIP, European Defence Industrial Program, and their possibilities to develop your defence capabilities. And I will not talk yet about the big package on military mobility we will present this week. Instead, I will try to talk more about the great strategic issues, the key choices we need to make, which still remain as rhetorical questions, but which nevertheless demand our quick answers in order to be ready to defend ourselves. And especially when I see in the audience and in the program representatives of Ukrainian armed forces who can give us the most precise answers to all the questions related with our readiness to defend ourselves. My major message today: let's ask Ukrainians how to be ready for defense and how they can help us to be ready. My first rhetorical question: why are lessons from the Ukrainian war of defense coming so slow to our knowledge and to our decision-making at the highest military and political level? Why did it take us more than 2 years and the trigger of the Russian provocation with drones against Poland and also against Baltic states and Romania to understand that we are not ready to detect Russian drones and to destroy them with cost-effective means? Despite the fact that all of us we witnessed how drones are being massively used on Ukrainian front lines starting from the year 2023. And now we have the end of 2025 and the forthcoming 4-year anniversary of Russian war against Ukraine. The Russians are learning. Are we? My second question: what do we need to learn? Do we fully understand how modern warfare doctrine is changing? I hear very strong messages from General Valery Zaluzhny, who is now Ukraine's ambassador to the United Kingdom, that in the European Union we are not preparing ourselves to fight the wars of tomorrow, which Russia is now waging against Ukraine. And up until now, I have had possibility to read only United Kingdom 2025 UK Strategic Defence Review, which shows that they really learned the lessons from Ukraine. In the future, the British military will prepare to strike 80% of targets with different types of drones and missiles, and only 20% with classical means, tanks and artillery. Very much like they are doing in Ukraine. What's about us in the Baltics? Where are our strategic defense reviews? And in addition to that, we need to answer ourselves the question: what do we need to be ready for? For a classical war of aggression with tanks and artillery rolling all over our borders, which triggers the Article 5 of NATO? Or do we need to be ready for an increasing scale of dangerous provocations against us, but which are remaining below Article 5? And are we preparing ourselves for such kind of aggression when not tanks will roll over our borders, but only drones and missiles will attack our energy infrastructure and will destroy it? My third question, related with the second one, is: what do we need to learn from defense technological innovations in Ukraine? Do we need to learn how Ukraine to learn from Ukraine how to produce drones, or do we need to learn from them how to create proper innovative defense ecosystems which unites drone production, innovation, and operation of them into one uniquely dynamic system? My clear choice is the second. We need to learn an ecosystem in which dynamic industry and drone producers brings dynamism into actions of military forces. And in such case, even the state bureaucracy needs to adapt for that kind of dynamism. For us, better to learn all that before the war than during the war. That is why this week we shall present in Commission the Defense Industry Transformation Roadmap to push forward transformation of our defense industry. And the question number 4, how do we learn from Ukraine? Alone or as a frontier region? My answer again is very simple, as a region. Why? Because in the case of Day X, regional capabilities of eastern flank countries to give a united and collective defense response before the NATO response will come can be a more important factor than individual capabilities of each country. That is why the Eastern Flank Watch, the project initiated by Baltic states and Poland, supported by all the frontier countries, and now defined by the European Commission as one of the initial 4 most important flagship defense projects of the European Union, is so important for the whole frontier region, from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, from Finland down to Romania and Bulgaria. We need to learn how to do defense together and how to develop such important projects together with Ukraine and including Ukraine. And the question number 5, why do we need to build Eastern Flank Watch together and including Ukraine? Because this is the only way how we can learn from Ukraine not only how to make drones, but also how to build the whole ecosystem. Because the wars are won by defense ecosystems, not just by technologies or drones. And second, if frontier countries will learn how to build the Eastern Flank Watch together with Ukraine, this knowledge of modern warfare will start to spread to other regions of the European Union. And the last argument, building it together with Ukraine will allow us also to learn how to do common defense of our region and of the whole European Union together with Ukraine. And that is the most important thing that we need to learn, and to learn now. The question number 6. Do we need a battle-tested Ukrainian army as a core of Eastern Flank defense? We need to remember that if Day X comes and Putin decides to test Article 5 somewhere in the Baltic region, we shall face the aggression of a Russian battle-tested army, which is now much stronger than it was back in February 2022, and is able to use millions of drones. Ukrainians are saying that Russians are as good as defenders of Ukraine in using drones. Are we also so good? Are we really prepared for such a Day X, despite the fact that we do not have battle-tested armies in the Baltic states? And here comes the strategic question. How we can integrate Ukrainian battle-tested defense capabilities, both of the battle-tested 800,000 strong military forces and battle-tested Ukrainian innovative defense industry with our, both of the European Union and of our frontier or Baltic states defense capabilities. If we do not do that, we shall make a historical mistake. We shall leave us weaker, and we shall leave Ukraine weaker. We should remember that integration of Ukraine with the European Union is, of course, very much needed for Ukraine. And Ukraine deserves that, despite all the recent corruption scandals. But what we need to stress, and Baltic defenders should do that, is that Ukraine integration is also a vital interest of the European Union, because that is how real European defense readiness can be built before 2030. The initiative for making such an integration a success should come from the Baltic countries. It's what defending Baltics should be about. And my last question, instead of conclusions, question number 7. Can we in Lithuania have an Ukrainian battalion next to the permanent German brigade and next to rotating US battalions? I hope that it's obvious why I am asking this rhetorical question. It's not because I doubt the German brigade or US troops. They are great. And it's not because I doubt Article 5. Not at all. But we Lithuanians will learn in our history that it is better to have multiple guarantees for our security. It will be good next to NATO Article 5 guarantees to have also European Union Article 42.7 guarantees with a clear mechanism how they will be implemented. It will be good also to have guarantees that all the Eastern flank countries will come to defend each other in the same way as they are preparing to defend themselves. And it will be good that the battle-tested Ukrainian army, after peace has been established in Ukraine, would be ready to be present in all the countries of our frontier region, starting from the Baltic region and in Lithuania next to German brigade and to rotating US battalions, as additional guarantee for our security. My message today is very simple. Baltic defense can be built only together with Ukraine and together with the whole frontier region. That can be done only if the Baltic region will start to look not only at what needs to be done in each Baltic country individually, but also what needs to be built together in the whole Eastern flank region, including Ukraine. Baltic initiative here is more than welcome, and the same with the European Union. The European Union can help the region if you will help us to help you, if you will be active and visible with your ideas, not only in the Baltic region, but also in the whole European Union, including the Mediterranean region, and including Brussels. The voices of emergency from the Baltics are strongly heard in Brussels and other capitals. But more dialogue emanating from the Baltics is needed with the people in other parts of Europe. Technologies developed and tested in the eastern flank will be of a great value also for the defense industries in Spain or Italy. We recently published our roadmap on EU Defense Readiness 2030, a serious delivery plan. I would be happy if soon I would be able to read the Baltic Defense Readiness Roadmap developed together with Ukraine. We are ready to assist Baltic defense. Thanks a lot.